Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is a humanitarian, spiritual leader, and an ambassador of peace and human values. Through his life and work, he's inspired millions cutting across regions and religions with a vision of a violence-free world. As a notable, globally recognized spiritual leader, he has propagated our civilizational beliefs of human identity beyond the boundaries of gender, race, nationality, and religion. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a very special moment for not just Guruji, but also for us, as we have learned that it is his star birthday according to the Hindu lunar calendar. And we would like to felicitate him on behalf of the entire Republic family, and I request Arnab to please do us the honors of presenting Gurudev with a bouquet of flowers. Please accept this, Gurudev, as a humble offering on your birthday. Arnab, it's over to you now.
Happy birthday. It's just amazing. It's a coincidence. And I feel too blessed at this moment that you are here with us physically, where you were supposed to be from America earlier. And I want to share with everyone. And as of this minute, Gurudev, millions watching across our networks and streaming across, your devotees and so many others, that you have taken the effort to be with us for the Republic Summit. So we must have done something right.
It's my joy, Arnab. You are bringing the much needed inspiration and information to people. And in such short time, Republic TV has done wonderfully well, and reaching out in Hindi and English and Bangla. I was just asking your better half, Shamo, when are you going to start in Kannada and Telugu and Tamil?
What do they say? Swalpa, in Kannada they say?
Swalpa time.
Swalpa time. Swalpa time. Gurudev, Swalpa time. We have a lot of we have a lot of energy. We don't always have the money.
Yeah.
But one small thing when we were building Republic one day, my dearest friends, like a brother, Ajay Bagga and Rajita, who are very close to Gurudev, and we all feel close to you that way. They called me and they said, Arnab, you have started building your, has your construction started in Bombay? I said, construction is started. I said, why? He said, Gurudev is coming to the building and then he wants to come to the construction site. And look at the generosity and spirit of Gurudev. He brought a whole lot of sweets. And in our construction site, 9:30 at night, he went to each one of the workers with the sweets out there, and he blessed our studio as it was being built. So when we have you with us and the divine force with us, Gurudev, I think we've done something right. Thank you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Now, Gurudev, you're thinking, when will he stop? I will stop at some point, but I'm overawed in your presence. Anyway, I have a bad habit of talking too much, Gurudev. Yeah,
That's needed.
Gurudev, tell me, the theme is transformation. We're talking about the time to transform. We're talking about the need to transform. And I want to ask broadly, what must transform for us? What are the thresholds of transformation? What must be continually transformed as an individual, as a society, as a country, to stay relevant? We are talking about civilizational reawakening. What does transformation mean?
Look, change is an order of the world. Everything has to change. If anything doesn't change and if it gets stagnant, then you have to see that something is not right there. But change towards the better, we call transformation. That which can change towards more evolutionary, that which brings goodness to people and make people happy. And that's the transformation, that's the change we are looking for, right? We don't want such a change that would bring more pain, inflict more suffering on humanity. So the baseline for transformation is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual comfort.
Gurudev, we are seen as a bright spot economically in the world nowadays. How do we become a guiding light? As we've had a lot of challenges, COVID, Ukraine war, we've had a global economic meltdown. What do we need to do as a country to become a guiding light spiritually?
Exactly. This is what we need to look into. What is that can make our society happier? Post-COVID, we see the suicide rates have skyrocketed. Every 40 seconds, one person is committing suicide on the planet today. This is not the civilization we are looking for, where domestic violences have increased, stress and tensions are going up, and then young people are dying out of heart attacks. And what is the point of we having a lot of wealth without having mental well-being, wellness of, this is where I think the world needs attention, to pay attention today. See, in America alone, just in the last 4 months, fourth month is not yet over, there has been so many hundreds of mass shootings.
Yes.
And this is not the type of transformation we want in our society here. We don't want children to be taught you can be he or she. You must have heard about what's happening in America.
Yes.
So we want progress, but at the same time we want a progress which is sustainable, which is well rooted in our culture. For this, we need the think tank of this country to be proactive.
Yes.
And not enough to have think tank in their little drawing rooms or in their offices, but it has to infiltrate into every section of our society. On this only we started the Har Ghar Dhyan. When our big institutions like IITs and IIMs have suicides. Last week, another boy committed suicide in Chennai IIT.
Yes.
So these boys or these young people are so brilliant, but there is something they are yearning for, they lack. And that is where I think we have to place our attention.
Gurudev, we spoke during the Ukraine crisis, and over 6,000 people, including 1,200 students, were rescued during the war in Ukraine by you and the Art of Living. And I think that is something we must all applaud. It's incredible, just incredible. And I saw a side of you which touched me so much. You were really concerned. And you were really active at that time. You were working the phones. Like a control room, he was working the phones. Have the people reached? Have the buses reached? Where are the students? Have they eaten anything? Have they got, there was, and I remember that moment, there was a FaceTime, I think we tried to connect you and the students and Republic. Could you tell us a little bit about that mammoth operation? And personally, when you were overseeing it, what was playing on your mind?
Well, I must thank the volunteers and teachers who are working in Ukraine day and night. And I had a call with them when the war broke out, a Zoom call, and I asked the volunteers, our teachers, are you safe? If you want to be in a safer place, why don't you come to our German center or Polish ashram? You will all be housed and we'll take care of you there. You know what they said? No. We have to be here to serve people here, work here, Gurudev. Said, we are all ready. And they had such sense of humor even in the darkest hour. This is something that is really appalling. I was surprised to see they are working with such dedication, and they could see, there is a bomb happening there just outside our buildings. But that zeal and enthusiasm with which they help people, especially the Indians and other nationals. I would like to mention here one lady, she had a sick mother at home, and she in her car had to leave the mother and give her or whatever medication and take the car, drove our people to the next spot, nearest spot for 3 hours up and down. Another woman, she had a baby, a 2-year-old child, and she put the child also in the car with one of the volunteers, and she was driving up and down and ferrying people from one to another. And the way people in the Polish border opened their homes, our volunteers there, and they welcomed them, then the food and clothes, whether in Poland or Hungary, in Budapest also we had operations. So all along the border, our volunteers got an opportunity to serve and uplift the spirit of people.
They say that when you are hungry, you can't think of philosophy. Equally, I'd like to play devil's advocate with you on this. When you're in conflict, when you're fighting each other, when you're killing each other, when there is bloodshed, how can you think of spirituality? And that is what I have been intrigued.
Spirituality is not just thinking.
No, in the context that, sorry, Gurudev.
No, spirituality is in your DNA. It's part of you. Compassion is very much a part of your life. Only when there is suffering, compassion will come up. Sense of service, sense of belongingness, all these are what I would call a spirituality. It's not just sitting and thinking about somebody. It is, this spandan, the vibrations that you feel and you emit to others.
Your work in conflict zones, conflict-struck zones, Gurudev, has been phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And it includes the ending of as I'm sure everyone knows here, the decades-long conflict between the revolutionary group FARC and the government of Colombia, for which you've been acclaimed globally. Why do you keep going back to conflict zones? Why does Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar keep going back to zones of conflict? Is it necessary? Is it necessary?
Arnab?
Yes, sir.
Gita was born in a conflict zone only.
Sir.
And the use of Gita or the philosophy, the knowledge, is more in the conflict zone when everything is comfortable and you are at peace, you are in joyful mood. You don't need any philosophy there. Correct?
Well, Gurudev, this smile of yours is very, sometimes very worrying for me. You appear so, quote unquote, chilled out all the time, Gurudev. You know what happened last time? Is that, this Rajita? He was flying a chopper, he was going to one place, and suddenly there's breaking news on Republic TV. The first news comes. Sri Ravi Shankar's helicopter going through a cloudy area has had an emergency landing. And I called Ajay and Rajita in panic. I said, find out. And the next thing I see is this happy man next to a chopper, which has landed, God knows, in the middle of walking around happily as if nothing happened. So Gurudev, you have to appear to be less calm all the time, You're going to have an impact on me, which I might transmit at 9 p.m. So when Shazia comes on my show.
Arnab, I need a contrast. And you need a contrast, so.
Oh, this is incredible.
Okay. Now, look, You have showing this picture right in front of you. You know what is this?
Tell
This
me
is
about the
our
picture.
center
Can we
in
project it?
Ukraine.
1 minute, let me project it if we can, please, on the big screen. Yes, Gurudev, you can.
This is the center in Ukraine, which is almost 3/4 complete. You see, the roof is not yet completed. And I was going to go inaugurate, but before that war broke out. And this is the center which was housing many refugees.
Okay.
It's in heart of Ukraine. So people were teachers and volunteers were there helping people to stay there, and that was like a railway station. People are everywhere with their, they showed me pictures. And so this is the center that the people built themselves.
Wow.
In Ukraine, where the picture
And
is
it's
there.
built
just
in the
reminded
period
me
of conflict.
It's still
It
in
is
the,
built in the period of conflict.
before the conflict, but during the conflict time, it has helped people to, house people, so many people there.
You know, earlier today when we were talking, every theme, every meeting and conversation today has been about transformation. And I have found this quiet confidence in our leaders, decision makers, business leaders who have come on the platform. We had all the 3 service chiefs also earlier this morning. And in the context of spirituality and humanitarianism, Gurudev, we are today globally surrounded by conflict. What sets India apart? We have Taliban and Pakistan in the West. We have an unfriendly China in the East. We've had problems on the Myanmar border. We've had internal conflict in Sri Lanka, all reeling through internal conflict. We have never been an aggressor. We have never been an aggressor. The art of living has taken the Indian philosophy, our Vedic tradition, globally at scale. At scale. Is there a role for India? I want to just expand on this, where we can actually be the beacon light globally.
Yes, India has been in oasis even while financial crisis. Our country has sustained itself and has been in a very progressive path. Thanks to our administration, our leadership in this country, they have done well in upholding India in the times of crisis. Yes, India has always been a source of inspiration. Whether in philosophy or in humanitarian work, we have excelled. The very slogan, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, which has been here in this country for so long time. And today, the world is recognizing the impact of that humanitarian work and the spiritual need. See, when we started yoga and meditation 42 years back, people thought this is only for some recluse or some monks who would stand on a Ganges bank with all ashes. Yoga and meditation is not for common people. But I tell you today, 2.5 billion people, more than 1/4 of world's population, are practicing yoga and meditation. Vegetarianism was a taboo. Today, it's so common around the world. So, India has so much to offer, whether it's philosophy or its culture, or our diverse language, and the way we sail through all tough challenges. We take challenges and how we move through it. This is all something that the world is appreciating.
But the world is very polarized.
Absolutely.
The world is very polarized. Society is very polarized. Thanks to social media, otherwise, geopolitics, the world is really, really fragmented today. Fragmented and divided on extreme lines, What is the future of humanity, Gurudev? Spiritually, what holds the human fabric together in these times?
See, these polarization cannot be sustained for too long.
Why do you say so?
Because the human nature is such, though we fight, we get back together. Because I believe the compassion, the love, and the caring and concern for each other is so much embedded in us. It's in our nature. So sooner or later we get back, you know. This is happening. See what happened. England and France were at loggerheads for centuries, but now they come together. Similarly, you can find examples all over the world. Yes, there are moments of strife and tension, but I'm very hopeful that it will move on. Polarization, yes, political polarization in America is at peak today. That is where our philosophy, our knowledge, the humanism that we, from in India, we honor and we pronounce, that has a big role to play. So India can be that glue that can, or the bridge that can bridge the gap.
Absolutely.
In the polarization, when it comes to polarization, whether domestic or societal or between the nations, it is the values that can unite people.
Yeah, sure. I think people are also going back to their roots and they're talking about where we are, our religion, our culture, our diversity. And part of it also is a growing confidence in our history. We have with us, Uday Mahurkar is sitting there, very, very well-known journalist and writer, and he keeps talking about the need for a civilizational and historic reawakening in our country. And when that happens, unfortunately, Gurudev, and this is a slightly more contentious issue, people say that when you talk about pride, say Hindu pride in being a Hindu, then it's often associated or gets associated stereotypically with certain Western notions of quote-unquote Hindu revivalism. You know? So it is seen to be Hindu revivalism. And it's not about the pride in your religion or your culture, but it is seen to be at the expense of others. Is that a narrow way of looking at it?
Yes, there is quite a bit of prejudice, I would say, in that direction. And not only that, there is a stereotype, as you said, narration, not in the public, not in the people, but in the media.
In the media?
Yes, international media has a lot of prejudice when it comes to the Eastern countries, and you see.
Can you expand on it?
Yeah, you see there is more negative news about India than positive news. And you see most of them are not the facts.
Yeah.
If you do a fact checking, it's far away from the facts. But people don't buy into negative news as much as they used to because of social media, I tell you. And what I have found, the negative mindset people are more proactive than the positive ones.
Absolutely. Or more vocal.
Yeah, see, that's what happened in the conflict in Colombia. I mentioned to the presidency, it's not time to go in for the public opinion, voting on this peace initiative. Only 17% of the population voted against peace, and the rest of the population was for peace, but they didn't go and vote. So just in 2% of vote, they lost that peace accord sanction from the public, voting from the public. But anyway, they had to discard that. They discarded, and anyway, peace agreement was sealed, signed, and they continued with that. And it was a futile exercise, asking people the opinion, because same happened with Brexit also. If you see in England, people, the negative mindset are more active. They go to vote. But the positive mindset people just take it a little easily.
How do you tackle
this is where you have to work on the transformation.
Exactly.
The main transformation is make the positive mindset to be more proactive, and ask the negative set to rethink, relax, rethink.
You take our culture our Vedic tradition, the best of Indian civilization, with this calm demeanor through an organization, which, by the way, you know, organizations with 100 employees struggle. Attrition is a reality in every sector. You have a presence, by the way, viewers. Art of Living has a presence in 180 countries around the world. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Am I right? And so once I saw a picture of you in Siberia somewhere, then I'm told Gurudev has got on a plane, then you were in Mongolia somewhere, and I wonder what you're doing and how many Gurudevs there are. You're everywhere. But you're a volunteer-driven organization. I will go back to my question, Gurudev, with a little bit of persistence. You see, people get on the back foot very quickly when they are told, you are a right-winger, you are communal, you are following a Hindu revivalist agenda, you are part of, you know, so and so. There are stereotypes that are put, and then there are these classical Western phrases put, backsliding of democracy. And then when the new phrase which now comes, which these so-called intellectuals put out, is electoral autocracy, which means you don't like the government that was chosen. So I keep saying, is Boris Johnson an electoral autocrat? And when you don't like the person even more, then you'll say it's a mobocracy. So, you know, I'm saying that these phrases, Gurudev, and I'm asking you this because you are India's biggest MNC. There's nobody bigger than you in scale globally. Spiritually, the way you've spread India's wings, we should be grateful to you for what you've done. But you've done so without conflict. As in, like, you know, do you also face sometimes pushback, resistance? Do people try to stay, you know, sort of put you also in a...
You know, as they say, we walked through the sleeping elephants in the earlier years.
Walk through the...
Walk through the sleeping elephants, you see, the sleeping giants. Somehow we could make our way in all these years. Of course, if you go back to 40 years back when we started our movement abroad, it was not a cakewalk. It was tough. It was tough even for our volunteers. There was a lot of prejudice, and people would, you know, there's a lot of sort of blockage. Anything that comes from India, Eastern, meditation, yoga, these things are considered to be not the in thing, not for common people. There are people out there who would practice all that. That sort of opinion was prevalent in society. Even to have a program done in a prison, it was such a miraculous task for us to do that.
In a prison?
Huh.
Can you share
Just
any experience?
See, when we wanted to do this program in prison, because one ex-prison inmate did the program and his life was so transformed, we wanted to take it to prisons in America. So we went to Boston those days. And the Boston prison, my God, they had such tough time to even get an entry into it. Then finally they gave only 9 convicts into in a cellar room with a little bit window and dusty place. And our volunteer, our teacher went there anyway, taught them. And when they saw the result in them, the transformation in those 10 people, then they opened up. Then they started welcoming us. Same happened in Denmark. In Denmark, there was so much resistance initially, and then we started working with the gangsters.
Where is your bulletproof jacket out here?
So these gangsters, when they did the Sudarshan Kriya meditation, that life was so transformed. You know, if you see the picture with them, they are so like macho man with all tattoos and so bit, and you know, they can just push me in one finger. I would be out there. That type of tough guys, 6,000 of them, I tell you, and when their lives are transformed, there are tears in their eyes, and their life was so transformed. Then the parliament, Danish parliament, invited me to talked to them, said, what did you do to her? I said, this is the magic of knowledge, the magic of wisdom. Because when wisdom touches one's life, transformation is imminent.
But transformation is perpetual. From a time when industrial revolutions lasted 50 to 100 years, we today are seeing Gurudev, a digital transformation. You know, products land on our doorsteps at the snap of a finger. People also think spirituality can be bought. You know, this increasingly materialistic growth, you know, in this age, we also need to think about what keeps us rooted, what keeps us authentic, what must we hold on to. What is your advice, Gurudev, as we go through this phase?
Yeah, in the name of spirituality, there are a lot of things happening out there. I don't want to even go into it. But one thing I tell you, there's clarity in mind, purity in heart, sincerity in action. That shows the authenticity of any spiritual practice.
Clarity in mind?
Clarity in mind, purity in heart, and sincerity in action. I'd say this is the baseline for any spirituality, authentic spirituality.
That's so clear. Amazing. I thought you'll give me a long and complex reply, but I'm thinking about what you've said.
Yeah.
But
See,
I want you to expand on it.
Arnab,
Yes, sir.
I don't see a single individual who is not spiritual. Some may say I'm not spiritual, but I see they are. Why? We are made up of both matter and spirit. Our body is amino acid, carbohydrate, protein. You need food, you need entertainment, all this. You need clothes, you need comfort for the body. But just that alone is not enough. You need solace, you need energy, you need creativity, you need enthusiasm, you need creative ideas to come out of it. All these aspects of the spirit, I would say, is what spirituality is. Spirituality is that enhances your enthusiasm, that makes you more creative, that makes you more happy, that makes you more committed. And integrity, this is all quality of the spirit. So, tell me one person on the planet who does not honor any of these values or doesn't want any of this. Everybody wants it. So, now how to enhance these aspects in one's life? What is the enemy for not having this, or enemy of these values is, number one, stress. Second, lack of opportunity or understanding. So many do not even get the opportunity to, reflect about themselves. They don't have that education wherein they can, think, who am I? What do I want? What do I want in my life? What do I get if I take this particular action? This sort of introspection is not put in the system, or it's not, his education is not there to that effect. So, when education includes some of these aspects of humanism, value life more than its accessories, then we will have a better society, a society free from violence. See what's happening in America. So many mass shootings.
Yes.
900 mass shootings in a year. It is worse than a barbaric age.
Yep. Yep.
This is not the civilization we look forward.
Yep.
Correct? So, that tendency or that attitude of inclusiveness, of understanding, of patience, perseverance, integrity, these values, this is the values we have all been brought up with. But we have to see whether these values are translated to the next generation. That is where the transformation the key for the transformation lies.
Wow. Value life instead of its accessories. So brilliantly put. What is the most needless stress? You talked about stress. You must meet a lot of stressed people. I'm not stressed. I'm okay. Don't look at me like that. I'm totally chilled out, Gurudev. I'm feeling very conscious right now. What are you referring to? That stressed fellow who comes at 9 o'clock every night and takes out this stress on other people.
But you know how to get out of the stress also. See, that's what, there is nothing wrong to be stressed. You can get stressed, but you shouldn't stay there. You should know how to get out of it, right? Too much to do, too little time, no energy. That's the formula for stress.
But what is the most needless stress?
Most de-stressing is relaxing.
Needless. What is the most needless stress? Not required at all, which people waste time on.
Needless. That depends on individual. They have to, you cannot decide for everybody what is they need and what they don't need. It's a very individual thing. But one thing I would say is one should know how to manage one's stress. If you are stressed, you should know how to get out of it. It's as simple as that. If you get muddy, you should know how to wash that off. Right.
Gurudev is doing something magnificent this year. And why his being here is so special to all of us, because Gurudev is organizing the World Culture Festival, I think the 4th edition of the World Culture Festival, which will be held in Washington, D.C., on the National Mall. And it has been incredible for me to see the videos of leading American policymakers, decision makers, thinkers, intellectuals, politicians speak excitedly about welcoming Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's World Culture Festival to Washington. Wow. That is an incredible, incredible thing, and I think the world will be watching what you do there.
Yes, the
What are you
credit
hoping to
goes
achieve?
the credit goes to the team of volunteers who are so enthusiastic, who want to bridge the gap, want to, heal the society with more culture and music, dance and all that. See, music and meditation, they are M&M. They have a lot to heal our society, our psyche. And I think that is needed. And people from all over the world will come and showcase their beautiful art form. It will be like a cultural Olympics of the world. See, you have for sports, you have Olympics. We have for economy, there is, in the field of economics, you have economic forums in the world. Of course, there are G20 and other platforms for politicians. There is a platform for all the judges and lawyers in the world. Doctors do meet. But I thought there is nothing common for all the cultures in the world and the artists. So here we are bringing artists from around the world in one place and showcase their art. And with this principle, the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Wow. Well, I think that's an extension of India's soft power in a way. What kind of superpower must India aspire to be? When we look at history, when we look at all major countries, economies, European countries had a colonial past. They say that Christopher Columbus was a great adventurer, but he was also a great believer in slavery. USA had wars for oil. China has and continues to follow an expansionist policy. You spoke about the message of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So when you envision India as a superpower, what kind of superpower must India aspire to be?
See, India is a knowledge-based society. It has been before also. And India is the Vishwa Guru, I tell you. It has to take the lead of leading the society, leading the people of the world towards happiness. we have to be the provider of happiness for the globe.
Shall we do a rapid fire?
Yeah.
Are you
Go
ready?
ahead,
You
go
enjoy
ahead.
rapid fire?
Go ahead, I am ready for it.
Yeah. What does transformation mean to you, Gurudev?
Change towards positive.
And what is spirituality?
That which uplifts you, that which is needed in all walks of life. Whether you are a businessman, whether you are an artist, whether you are a scientist, you need intuition, you need intelligence, and you need sharpness of awareness. And spirituality is that provides all this.
Can you measure karma on a weighing scale?
Measure?
Can you measure your karma on a weighing scale?
Karma.
Now you can expand on this.
Karma.
Yes.
Karma is action, impression, and impact. It is used in all three modes. Karma is the action, whatever you are doing, that action. And it is also the impression that you carry, which propels you to act in a certain way. And then also the impact of your actions come to you as a fruit of action. That's also called karma.
Who can be spiritual?
Every single person are spiritual anyway. They simply have to realize it.
What is the first thought when you get when I say India, Bharat?
Most vibrant spiritual leader of the world.
Wow. What is real peace? What is real peace at a personal and a societal level?
Peace, real peace, there is nothing called false peace. Peace can only be real. If you really say peace, it's only peace. And peace is very basic thing. When you have a good night's sleep and when you wake up, know that you had peace before and after sleep also. You had good sleep, so you have peace. You had peace, that's why you could go to sleep well without all the pills popping into your mouth. So peace is the basic thing. That can bring prosperity in society. If there is no peace, there is no prosperity. And you see, in India, the districts where there was the Maoist and other Naxalite disturbances, they remain backward. And the region where there are peace, there is progress. Now see Kashmir, as the peace has come and there is so much progress has happened. So peace is that which preludes progress.
What has been the most intense experience of your life?
I live my life intensely every moment.
Did you dodge my question? Did you dodge my question? Did you dodge my question?
Dodging your question, no, that's the real answer for your question. I do anything intensely, yeah.
Gurudev,
Hope you got that.
what is the future you see? Because I do believe that you have, in my various conversations with you and my learnings from you, you have divine wisdom. What is the future that you foresee for the country in 2047 or any, what do you foresee for India?
We are the youngest country and we are the most vibrant society, and I see a very bright future of our country. At times we may see that, we are not so skilled as we ought to be. In our villages, our youths are unemployed. They're all looking for some employment. But with the skilling, you see they are so talented. Just an opportunity for them. And it is happening now, like never ever before. We are seeing now the education has improved. The literacy rates are going up. Youths are coming forward for creative, entrepreneurial, with entrepreneurial spirit. So I see India has a very bright future.
What is your advice for India's politicians? I'm sure they ask you for advice.
You know, advice is very personal.
No, that is. Now you dodge the question.
So I don't want to
dodged the
give advices which hang like orphans in the space, nobody to own them. So when they ask for it, I give them. And I don't prepare my advices in advance. I keep an empty space, and when people ask advice, that comes up and I give them that time.
But broadly for India's political class.
Look at the people and look at their needs and put yourself as service to uplift this country.
Wow. Well, Gurudev, I would say this, that we are so blessed to be in your presence. And we are so blessed to be in your time. And I wish you and the Art of Living all the best for the World Culture Festival, which is in Washington, D.C. And I believe, and I think I speak for everyone in the audience when I say that you are the true ambassador of India's soft power today. Thank you so much for being the transformation for this country. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar and Arnab, for that enlightening and impactful conversation. It's really appropriate, ladies and gentlemen. We still have more to go, so please be seated. It's appropriate that we are almost at the end of the day, and we had such an impactful session with Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now, as our last session, a video message from a man who's guiding Uttar Pradesh to become one of India's favorite investment destinations. Yogi Adityanath's rise in Indian politics has been nothing short of meteoric. Grounded, a no-nonsense and a hard taskmaster.